When Cindy Beale was brought back from the dead, there were some weird notions. There were people who were thinking that Cindy Beale, as she left, was going to be completely different 25 years on. And they thought that Cindy wasn't going to cheat on Ian anymore, and she wasn't going to be that, kind of obnoxious hypocrite that she has shown herself to be ever since she's arrived. She's basically been a main antagonist ever since she returned, and despite having so much family around her, she has continued to prove herself to be a hypocrite, to be untrustworthy, and consistently the best and most exciting antagonist on the show. I am someone who loves this version of Cindy, and this is from someone who didn't watch much of Cindy during the 90s. I really do enjoy Cindy Beale. I think she's a great antagonist. I think she's great at being so consistently... She's just such a hypocrite that just everybody gets fully done in by her. And this is what makes it such good telly. She puts herself in awful situations. She hopes that her family's going to back her. Her family doesn't back her. And then she just decides to blow it up in the first place. I made the parallels to Janine, where Janine is likable in moments, but fundamentally Janine will always continue to go way too far to prove what she thinks is right. Cindy is the same sort of character. She wants something, but she'll always go to underhanded tactics to get it. So when she is nearly there and the family finds out, they are appalled that she's gone this far again, and she's done it again. She is likable in moments, but fundamentally, it's really hard to look past all of the hypocrisy and her just being inherently selfish. It's a really good character, and it's a character you always need to have on soap. You need these characters to push the envelope and do things that other characters wouldn't say or do. There are certain types of people in life who simply walk by like a bystander, and there are people who call others out and give them all of the necessary shit that they want to. Cindy is one of the latter ones. But the weird thing about Cindy's reintroduction is people, once again, took this stance of why, if they're bringing Cindy back, I hope they change her character. Because Cindy during the 90s, she was defined by affairs. She would consistently cheat on Ian and constantly go for what she wanted, even if she knew what she had was safe and stable. She always wanted excitement. She always wanted fireworks. And people wanted her, when she returned, to now settle back down with Ian and to no longer be that same Cindy. And I get the idea that you want her to change and develop over these years, but also, a leopard doesn't change its spots. Is it like Cindy? You don't bring back Janine and say, yeah, well, all that bitchy stuff of Janine, well, that doesn't exist now. She's now just a devoted mum. She's not selfish at all, and she's actually just going to live a cozy life. You don't want that. You don't want that, man. That sounds horrendous. It's like Grant. You bring back Grant. He's no longer a hard man, and he's no longer a Mitchell. Like, what? So he's just now a soft-spoken, nice guy. That's not who Grant is. That's not what they do. And it's been such a weird little bugbear, because the communities do typically take these stances where they refuse to believe that they're actually getting, worked by the show. And by that, I mean they're actually, falling for what the show's putting out there. For example, whenever it's the who do you hate the most in EastEnders, it's usually a character who's currently being a bitch on screen or a dickhead on screen. For the last month or so, it's been Jean, because Jean has been a cow. And since Cindy returned, it's been Cindy, because Cindy's been a cow. But people don't attribute this to actually being kind of taken in by the show. They take it out against the writers, and they take it out against the direction of the show, when fundamentally this is just you just being suckered in by the show. It's always bizarre to me, and people like to, and I say this ironically as someone who talks about the show and tries to be a bit more in the bigger picture and like legacy, long-term stuff. Like, it just feels like people want to feel like they know the show better than they do, but they still get suckered in by the storylines. Like, it's always kind of funny to me, and it's always kind of rich, because it's like, as it says before, who's your least favorite character? It is whoever has been a nuisance that week. So, like, you act as if you're not getting, like, overdone by the show, but you're still following what they're putting out there as the trends. It's just, it's mental to me. Like, let's just drop this pretense. We're all fans of the show. We all get suckered in. We all have our favorites. We all have our least favorites. It's just how it works. Now, let's stop attributing these fundamentally good villains and fundamentally good characters. Let's not attribute what winds us up about them to be the direction of the writing. Let's just say that, let's just say Cindy has been an absolute cow. Simple matter of fact thing. But anyways, that's a long tangent to get to this Reddit thread, so I'll pull it up on screen. Okay, that kind of bugged on the Reddit overlay. It's fine. Who knows? Okay, that's fine. Alright, got it. Sorry. This is a discussion that needs to be addressed. How did Chris Crenshaw get this so wrong? How? 25 years of Cindy Beale being gone from the show, and you bring her back, and this is what you do with her. This isn't a target on Cindy Beale, the character, or Michelle Collins, the actress. It very clearly is. But Chris Crenshaw's clear-cut failure is what at fault here. So, she's just the same one-dimensional character she's always been, a cheating bitch. No progression as a character, no change, nothing. The past 25 years didn't do anything for her as a character and as a person. Just a lying manipulative cheat who only cares about herself. I just don't know why you brought her back if this was your big idea for her return. In less than 2 years of Cindy Beale being back, she's completely fucked and alienated everyone. No one cares about her at all. She's made zero friends since coming back, not even Sharon, who was once best friends with Cindy, and dare I say they were sisters once upon a time, but they've had zero one-to-one interaction since Cindy came back. Obviously, I didn't watch that time period, but that sounds a bit far-fetched to me, but could be wrong. Your whole idea for Cindy to just be a cheat who destroys everyone's lives. That's it. This isn't Cindy Beale, the character's fault, considering they've written her to be completely different in a positive way. This isn't Michelle Collins' fault, considering she's done a job as an actor. This is solely on Chris Crenshaw. For all the good Chris Crenshaw has done, this is one of the worst things he's done. His portrayal of Cindy has been a universal failure. Whenever people talk about characters coming back from the dead, it's always been the same three people. Ronnie, Roxy, and Fatboy. I don't think I've heard too many people say Cindy Beale as one they wanted to see resurrected from the dead. I mean, look, there's a lot to unpick there, but you're saying a one-dimensional character. But first and foremost, Cindy's returned. Cindy has been a huge character in Chris Crenshaw's version of the show. She's been a massive inclusion. She's gotten all these big storylines. And I don't understand the desire. Why do you want Cindy Beale to not be Cindy Beale? If Cindy, at a young age, showed that she was a ruthless, cutthroat, like, kind of manipulative cow who would do and screw and do anything to get what she wants because she believes she deserves it, I don't know why you want her to come back and maybe she's like downtrodden. In fact, usually at this point, generally, as people get older, they get a little bit more desperate, don't they? They get a little bit more desperate. They feel more entitled to things. They take shortcuts. Take Dirty Den in 2003 when he returned. When him and Phil had a confrontation, or just in general, Dirty Den became a lot more cutthroat and a lot more scheming in order to get what he wanted. He had to get Phil out the picture, and he had to split Sharon and Dennis apart, and he would constantly cheat on Chrissy to get what he wanted. He wasn't the same smarmy, charmy Den of 85. He was a much older, a much more withered, someone who doesn't necessarily have the time or the effort to care about these things. So instead of Cindy, who went to prison and then, did she go into prison and went into hiding? Why is it a shock that once she has finally been able to live for herself, she's finally been able to live and do what she wants and finally be with her family after all this time, why would she just become nice Cindy Beale? And second, why would you bring back Cindy Beale to be a nice little dainty character? I don't understand. This is who the character is. She's not like she isn't, and one-dimensional's not a problem with Cindy. Cindy has dimensions. She just has the same kind of characteristics she falls back on. She tries to take shortcuts. She's entitled. She's a hypocrite, so she'll try and take things she wants, but if she doesn't get those things she wants, she'll make like little substitutions. Oh, I can't get George, I'll go for Junior. I can't get Ian and be happy, I'll go for literally anybody else. She always wants something else because what she has is never going to be good enough for what has been built up with Cindy. And, me showing this shows that she's clearly not one-dimensional. Cindy wants to be loved and wants to be appreciated, but also fundamentally always makes the bad decision, which makes her family disapprove of her. Simply saying. Simply saying. And also, who else would be the token soap asshole in this time period? It's been Cindy. It's been Cindy. She is the problem that the Beales and the Knights have to keep glossing over. She is the problem, and the Knights and the Beales just have to keep dealing with it. She is the problem, and that's been the biggest motivations for drama with the Beales' return on the show. So, I don't want Cindy Beale to be nice. That's not who she is. She's a bitch. She is. That's who the character is, fundamentally. You don't bring back Janine to not cause catfights and not be a problem. Because that's not Janine. That's just a random character. It's a wild perspective, and I don't think people realise. So you want to bring back Cindy, but you want to only cherry pick the things that she didn't really do that much. You want to bring her back, but you don't want her to do what she was famous for. I don't know about that, Chief. I don't know. What do you want? And honestly, the issue is, if it wasn't Cindy, it would be anybody else. It would be like them saying, "Oh, Ronnie Mitchell's coming back from the dead." But I don't want Ronnie Mitchell to be the same scheming Ronnie Mitchell, because that would be insufferable. You don't want Ronnie Mitchell to be scheming. God, she's grown up. She's grown up. Why would you want to see this? Why would you want to see Ronnie Mitchell come back and be Ronnie Mitchell again? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But let's read on further. So yeah, you want to make Cindy a bit more likable, but now it's a soap opera. You can easily change Cindy's character to make her more likable and less of a bitch unless provoked. Cindy can still have that mean streak of her when she's pushed to that point that she brings it out. Other than that, just keep her simple. But no. So you want Cindy to be a bitch, but you don't want Cindy to be a bitch. Cindy's never really been comfortable since she returned. She's never really had the best relationship with the kids, as much as she's tried, and when she's been relatively safe, there's always been something that's gotten in the way. It's what Cindy does. She just can't help herself. She cannot help herself but continue to cause problems. The second that she's doing well, bloody hell, I've gone and ruined it again. She self-destructs. People are like this. Michelle Collins said on an interview that she wants the audience to see a more positive and vulnerable side of Cindy. But the issue with that is we are too far gone from that. In the 2 years of Cindy being back, she kissed her ex-husband George multiple times on multiple occasions, constantly being around him for no reason, admitting that George was the true love of her life. Slept with his son, had an affair with her own stepson for months because he was the closest thing to George. Kissed David Wicks, her own ex-brother-in-law, when he came back. Are we back in the 1990s? Cheated on Ian, and say all you want about Ian, he didn't deserve that, considering he was actually a good partner to Cindy and actually put her first constantly. Ian Beale's written this post, apparently. Ian being a good partner? Ian hasn't been a good partner to any of his wives. Ian is a self-serving, unsatisfying, really boring, no fireworks, no sparks. It's 3 seconds a missionary and a little kiss on the forehead and planning and calendars. Ian struggled to put Cindy first. And at times where Cindy would want this big, bold, romantic thing, Ian would simply buy her like a binder and say, let's match our calendars, instead of proposing in a romantic way. Ian is not what Cindy wants, and he's not really a good partner. Like, yes, he wasn't bad to her, but also for what Cindy wants out of a man, Ian does not fit the bill. So, let's not act like Ian is this savant. You know what I mean? She recently shot him and pushed him in front of a moving car, which resulted in Reese crashing into the Vic, causing all sorts of casualties and, most importantly, the death of Martin. So Cindy technically did kill Martin, or at least had a very big part of his death. Give Lauren all sorts of pills, considering Lauren had addictions in the past and was pregnant also, which is also the reason why Peggy's collapsed and so many people got injured, including Lauren and Abby. I mean, she wasn't necessarily the reason. Chelsea was the reason. She sold too many tickets. Yeah, sure, Cindy was getting busy on The Office, but the people being in Peggy's wasn't Cindy's fault. You know what I mean? Just look at all this. Look at all of this. Look at all this clamoring to suggest reasons why people don't want to like Cindy. Her own children don't care about her anymore. Peter, despite clearly being conflicted, has finally seen the light. Gina has also finally seen the light. Anna probably will still want Cindy around, but eventually she'll see the light too. Elaine doesn't care about her. George doesn't care about her. Kathy doesn't care about her. Linda doesn't care about her. Ian, most importantly, finally has seen the light and doesn't care about her anymore. No one on both sides of a family care about her anymore. Stephen and Lucy are dead, and Cindy Jr. lives in a different country. The only person who seemingly cares about Cindy is Junior. But even that, he's a mug and should see the light that Cindy is not a person like that. Why do you think they gave her the Albert? Why do you think Cindy is the way she is? Because she understands that she can't get things by conventional means. The only way she was going to get a business was by scheming and blackmailing her way to it. And the depth of Cindy to go, look, I've saved the family. I've exposed that I'm not as bad as my family thinks. Because look, Kathy was doing the same thing. Everybody, look at Kathy. Isn't Kathy a cow? When everybody's looking at Cindy like, yeah, well, you didn't need to fucking do that in front of everyone, though. And then Cindy's like, what? What do you mean? I showed the truth. You know, it's clearly not my fault. That look, Kathy's just as bad as me. And it's like, no, Cindy, the fact is you've done it again. You know, instead of proving that you do care about family, you only care about yourself. Like, she got angry that Peter didn't take her back in and then proceeded to try and destroy Kathy, hoping that this would prop her back up and make people believe that she is actually worth caring about. It's Cindy. That's who she is. That was her method, and it clearly backfired, proving that once again, she had to go to underhanded means to get what she wants. But now she has the Albert. Now she has something to sink her teeth into, And I wouldn't be surprised if, first, she gets with someone new, and second, there will be an inevitable Cindy health scare down the line, where the family will rally around Cindy for a time period, but once again, Cindy will prove that she is incapable of loving her family and putting her family first. I genuinely believe that. There will be a big health scare, and people will be like, oh no, mum, look, it's fine, we do love you. You know, it was all a mistake. But, you know, you are important. But then, just when she's all comfortable, Cindy's going to ruin it again, because that's who she is. Today's episode was very telling. No one gave a damn that Cindy got attacked. Even though Kathy had an affair with Harvey, everyone still defended Kathy against Cindy. So even if Cindy tried to go to the police, everyone will defend Kathy, so it's Cindy's word against everyone else's. I just don't know how you continue to have her on the show at this point when no one actually cares about her. She literally can die and no one will care. That's how far gone Chris Crenshaw has horribly and terribly written Cindy Beale. I disagree. She doesn't need to be loved. And you know the old adage, if I can't be loved, I will be hated. And Cindy will be hated. Because it's not like people aren't indifferent to Cindy. People aren't indifferent to her. People hate Cindy. People are so tired of Cindy's shit that they refuse to help her. Which means now, Cindy's gonna need some more people. Gonna need some more people to orbit her and treat her as the number one. She'll find a new family. She'll do what she can so she has more people to deal with her shit. So, no, people aren't indifferent to Cindy. People hate Cindy. People are fed up of Cindy. People see through Cindy. But now, she doesn't need a family. She's got her Albert. She's probably going to try spend some time with Jimmy. Cindy has gotten what she wanted. Even if it wasn't the way she would have wanted to get it, she will still be here and she will still try to make the family believe that she's in the right and everybody else is wrong. So, no, people aren't indifferent to Cindy. Cindy is Cindy. There's so much you could have done with Cindy. Have her and Ian actually have a good relationship that lasts for longer. We never saw Ian and Cindy actually have a good relationship and see them actually happy. There we are. Stop showing that. I'm just glad there's nothing sketchy in there. Don't have her cheat. Don't have her be so manipulative. Don't have her be so scummy. Don't have her shot people. Don't have her basically be a murderer on technically your own family member, as Martin was a cousin. She didn't murder Martin. She did cause the crash, yes. But she isn't at fault for Martin's death. Well, she kind of is. That's really loud. Once again, this isn't Cindy Beale, the character's fault. It's not Michelle Collins, the actress's fault. It's all Chris Clenshaw's fault. I just hope that Ben Wadey, the new executive producer, will actually write Cindy differently. But even that, are we too far gone, even with a different producer? No! No, we're not. We're fine. Cindy was a character that nobody thought was going to be brought back from the dead. Let's read this first one, then we'll go from there. Unpopular opinion, I'm loving Cindy back for the most part, as I'm too young to properly remember her first in the 80s and 90s, as she's bringing the drama and is involving half the square in her family's shenanigans like Gene and Harvey. Now she has given the Albert, this means the show bosses are investing in Cindy and trying to give her other ties to the square outside of family. I'd be totally here for a rivalry between Nicola and Cindy running the Albert against Harry's barn. Cindy and Nicola running the Albert against Harry's barn, with Spina being shunned. Another character that's bound to happen soon is Nicola, so the two finding a messy relationship/alliance be campy soap drama gold and would further project the two characters in the spot in the next couple of years. I see people saying hate Nicola or Cindy or wish they would leave or die, but in my opinion, they're two of the biggest characters bringing the drama at the minute. And if they weren't, people wouldn't be complaining that the show is boring, stale, or having to skip parts just because of X, Y, and Z. A boring, lifeless character who had nothing to quality the show. Seems that even though EastEnders is the best show before and the only one I could probably watch anymore, that at times they struggle to find a balance and that they can't with some viewers. That is not my alt. So what a comment. Confusion. No. 4526. So, first and foremost, that comment is really apt. They are investing in Cindy. And the thing that you can tell that they did really well is they brought back Cindy, a character who people didn't really want to see come back from the dead. She's returned and has been one of the biggest characters in EastEnders since she returned. Everybody has an opinion about Cindy Beale, and that's not for lack of trying. They have put her broadcaster front and center as a character who has this history and will continue to be the character she was established to be 25 years ago. Cindy is a blockbuster star. She's a leading lady and is one of the most polarizing characters in soap right now because everybody either loves her or hates her and wants her to leave. That shows they've done such a good job of rebuilding this character, considering we never really expected her to come back in the first place. I'm tired of this narrative that Cindy is awful, yet everybody is up in arms anytime Cindy, a villain, does something bad, and everybody is spewing. They are frantically furious. My brother hates Cindy. We didn't watch any of Cindy in the 90s. He hates Cindy. He wants her to leave. And that's great because you know that it's working. So let's update this narrative. Cindy Beale isn't a lifeless, dead-end character. Cindy is a character that the show should build around for the next 10 to 15 to 20 years, however long she wants to be there. You can make Cindy nice in 20 years when she's older, when she's not a leading character. But whilst you brought back Michelle Collins, soap royalty, once you brought her back, you're not bringing her back to shake hands and kiss babies. You're bringing her back to do what she was made famous for. It's ridiculous. Stop acting like you know more than the show, because the show is typically knows what they're doing and knows what they're doing better than you do. And I say that as someone who also gets very active and worked up about the show. They know what they're doing. Cindy isn't dead end. She's been back for 2 years. She's been a pillar of constant drama, constant excitement, and constant shit happening. You can never say Cindy's boring. You can say Cindy's a bitch. Cindy's a nuisance. I wish they stopped making us cheat on Ian. I wish they stopped doing this. But fundamentally, everybody cares. Which proves how well they've handled Michelle Collins' return to the show. A character who was never expected to be brought back from the dead, but now that she has, she's become the most prominent character for the last 2 years she's been back. So many more years of Cindy Beale. I love you. I adore you. And I absolutely enjoy lapping up all the tears where people like to strip her back and say, she's redundant. She's a dead-end character. She is none of these things. So just, check where you're at and remember, none of this is true. Cindy is a character that the new producers are going to invest in her for years. It's a character who a lot of people never thought they were going to get back, but a character that had so much left to do. So ultimately, just wait and see as when Cindy does have a big health scare and is genuinely struggling, you will care because she matters, and she matters to the audience, and she matters to you, whether you like to believe it or not, or you always say you hate Cindy and you wanted to leave. Fundamentally, Cindy is money. So yeah, there we are. That's the video. A 30-minute long takedown of why Cindy is actually a good character and everybody's wrong about her. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. What do you think about Cindy? Do you agree with some of my points? Do you disagree? I know it's a very combative video, but it's just, it winds me up when people do this. It winds me up how people act like they view the bigger picture, but when it comes to it, when they're asked the question of who do you hate the most, it's usually whoever is the most prominent, annoying character on soap that week. It's never like, oh, I hate Gavin Sullivan, or I don't know, whatever, like characters, I don't know, like Alfie Moon 28. It's not these long-standing characters. It is what is currently in my face, but instead of actually acknowledging that I only view it week by week, as you're supposed to be taken in by the ride. People like to act as if there's some higher power, know everything. And it's ironic coming from me. This is me being Cindy Beale in video form. Oh, I joke. This was a fun one though, so I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure I'll do more of these in the future, as that was necessary. Got out a lot of my petty grievances. But all in all, more and more time for Cindy Beale, please and thank you.